Hello, I'm Bransby. Welcome to the third and final part in this series looking at writing a song. In the first video we looked at where the idea for this song had come from and how I'd made a quick note of a tune and lyric that had come to me while I was out running one day. Then in the second video I took that idea and built on it, recording vocals and a synth and guitar and a bass into Ardour. And I ended on the suggestion that I thought the song was perhaps becoming more than I'd originally thought it would be. I think it's fair to say that this one really took on a life of its own, which for a songwriter is a very exciting thing. So I'll quickly summarise what happened and then talk about how it happened. At the end of the last video in this series I said this, and listening back to it, it feels like an intro to something. So I'm going to see where it goes. I'm going to see if it is just an intro to something. I'm going to ponder on it, stroke my chin a bit, and think about where it could go next. And maybe it's going to become something entirely else. I don't know. That's the creative process. That's what, songwriting's all about. So the more I listened to the song, the more I felt like something big had to happen next. So I picked up my Telecaster, which I have going through my Boss Katana amp, which you can just see down there. And I use the Katana Librarian Android app, actually, on my phone to find tones and to play around with tones. I chucked loads at this. I put a very high gain on it. I put an octave pedal on it. I put a chorus pedal on it. Very big hall reverb. And then I took that lyric line, that little melody, and just started building on that with that tone, and eventually started generating this much bigger instrumental arrangement. I tightened up the bass, I sliced up the individual notes, so I kept the original tone of that DI and the mic on the amp, but much more controlled, much more sort of electronic in feel because the notes are just duplicated. I added to that a synth kick, which I then used to trigger a sidechain compressor on the bass as well. Again, just tightening up that whole bottom end so it's very tight, very compressed. I added some clean rhythm guitar, just strumming simple chord triads on the offbeat, and then used a delay effect, an automated delay effect, to widen up that sound as a second synth came in. I used an open source soft synth again called Surge to create that shimmering sound where the whole song opens up. There's a muted chugging guitar line which again opens up as that second synth comes in, and the whole thing builds up to this crescendo where those layered vocals come in again to finish the song off. My friend was one and I'm sad that she's gone, she was far. So this is all way beyond what I originally thought this song was going to be. If you remember back in that first video, I think I was saying things like it's going to be pared back, it's going to be quite simple, and I think it's worth discussing why it's ended up like this and why it's gone so far beyond what I thought it was going to originally. If you've ever written a song, you might be familiar with the feeling that sometimes a song just writes itself. Not that it's easy necessarily, but that the song is happening to you rather than you're writing it. And speaking as a songwriter with 20 years experience, that's definitely the most creative and exciting thing you're going to experience, is when a song feels like it's just happening through you rather than that you're writing it. And that's definitely what happened in this case. But that sort of thing doesn't happen by accident. You have to allow yourself the time and the freedom to let that happen. So I've set up this studio here so that it is very quick and easy to just grab a guitar and get an idea down, to set up a mic and record some vocals. And that's very deliberate. I think as musicians, we can all be guilty of dicking about with our gear too much. As you can see, I've got loads of gear in here and loads of instruments. But crucially, I'm at the point where I use all of these now, and they're tools that allow a creative process to happen. So the song itself, it's not a nice song, is it? It's quite unsettling. The lyrics are difficult. Again, I'm not going to get into what they mean exactly. That's for you to decide. But this is where the song went. It's a reflection of things that I've been thinking and feeling and experiencing, and that's what creativity is. It's been a cathartic process to record and write this song. In terms of a creative process, it's been really liberating. I didn't allow myself to be guided by a particular sound I was aiming for. I didn't try and second guess what an audience might want to listen to. I just let myself record and write, and I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I'm really pleased with what I've got to at the end, and I'm very proud of it. It's available on Bandcamp and all streaming services now, so you can go and have a listen to it if you want to, and I'm starting to work on a video now as well. I'm going to make more videos in future about the technicalities of recording, and how I use open source software to record, mix and master, but I wanted to use this series to give an idea of what it's like to write a song, of what the creative process can be like, and how you can allow it to happen, and how you can allow yourself to create something. But if you have any questions, requests for future videos, anything specific you'd like me to cover, then please do drop a comment below and I'll do my very best to get back to you about it. Thanks very much. Take care.